obviously their kickoff returner is really good. Why is it just the speed and is such a factor there?
They've been good for a while. I think they do a good job again schematically, and then the return guy's been a good player. He's a good player against us the first time he played. He was a good player against us last year, and I just think they're playing well. So they can all run. I think the whole unit's really good. And, we've kind of gone back and forth with them. They've hit us on some plays. We've hit them on some plays. I think they do a tremendous job coaching. I'm familiar with the scheme. I've played against it before. And so it'll be a challenge for us. They can run, and they're physical.
Is it easier said than done to just have the Otters boom the ball out of the end zone?
Oh, yeah, a lot easier said than done. So we'll see how that goes.
Rich, on the missed PAT, obviously Dan does a nice job getting that down, but does Anders still need to make that kick, or is that on?
Yeah, we'd love to see him make it. I thought it was bad snap, bad hold, bad kick.
Okay.
So love to see him make it.
What is the rule on the penalty that Lucas Van Ness had?
Right.
So is it that the punter has to be able to land? Or how does
Right. He has to have the right to put his foot back on the ground. So, and actually Luke hit the back foot, and, he really should have blocked it. He came free. He came free one other time and held up because he felt like he messed up on the first one. I told him that, that'll be on me. Don't pull up when you come free, So I thought he played well. Just those things happen, and rather it not happen. So.
Was he, did you find a weakness there, or was he just making a play?
He did a good job, and they had a few maybe missed assignments in their protection kind of as the day went on, and he's tough to block. He's inside, and Brooks is inside, and I feel like our guys have been doing a pretty good job when they've had their opportunities, in the rush game inside. So, but again, their punter's playing well, and their punter can throw the ball. He's been a big fake guy in the past, and so this will be another one of those teams that they're multi-formational and punt, just kind of like the Giants were a little bit, like New Orleans was, and so to get prepared for all that will be a challenge as well.
You are, I believe you're the most penalized unit in the league.
We are.
And I realize some are different, some are bad calls and whatnot, but is there I'm trying to phrase this the right way, is there some penalties that are acceptable to some extent just because you're playing hard and things happen, or are they all bad in your book?
Yeah, great question. I think the penalties kind of go in categories. I think the first one would be, concentration penalties, false starts, offsides, maybe on offense, and you catch a guy they catch us on a head bob on punt return, or they kind of go in those focus concentration categories. And the next category is fundamentals and technique, or you block a guy in the back, or you hold a guy with your hands on the outside of the framework of your body, and those are things we can coach and we can correct. And then the third one would be, selfish penalties, where you throw a punch, or you hit a guy late, or you tackle a guy out of bounds, or you're just not doing it correctly. So I think to some degree they're all correctable. To your point, I think some of them were maybe misaligned call-wise. Some of them were definitely penalties in our problem with poor fundamentals, some poor technique, some of those things. I think we've really only had one selfish penalty where we kind of wanted to talk back to an official, and it cost us 15 yards. So I think the penalties we've had are correctable, and I'd like to think that we're moving in the right direction, So I think the good part for us in that game was there was 2 called against them, on their kickoff return team, and forcing 2 penalties is a good thing too.
Hey, Rich, your track record is well proven, and you don't need me to tell you how great you've been throughout your career, but why haven't you guys been better on special teams this year? You have high standards, whether it's the penalties or other aspects. Do you feel, has it been a frustrating year to not be better?
No, I think frustration is a wasted emotion. I think in the definition of frustration, there's a part in there about cannot change, right? Cannot fix. So I think we're constantly working towards improving, and I think at times we've played pretty well, and at times we haven't played good enough. So the combination would be would be some poor teaching possibly, and maybe the critique of a lot of different players playing throughout the year, a lot of first-year guys playing, and maybe put in some positions they haven't gotten a lot of time on task at some of those positions that we've asked them to play. So, again, we're just trying to figure out each week, did we help us field position-wise? Did we hurt us field position-wise? Did we make a play that made a difference towards a win, or did we make a play that made a difference towards the loss? You know, we play in the Giant game, and, you know, Keyshawn has the foobar, and we lose the ball, we end up giving up a touchdown. Well, we did flip it around, and you know, Rudy makes a nice play, and we got us in position at the 14-yard line. We got a field goal, right? So that's complimentary football. You know, what we get out of the things that we do well, and then what we give up out of the things, you know, we don't do. So the bottom line is our job is to set the offense in the return game. Our job is to set the defense in the coverage game. And I just think we've been a little inconsistent on both ends. So I think it's game by game. The stats really at the end of the year, you know, for the Rick Goslin's report, they really haven't seemed to have a factor for most special teams coaches around the league. It's more about what did the game chart look like field position-wise, what did the game chart look like inside the 20, what did the game chart look like, how you helped or how you hindered your team from winning a game. So I'd love us to clean up the consistency in that as we go through these next two games.
How do you feel like Whelan has punted in terms of what you want in that current situation? You know, whatever the given situation, all season long. Has he given you what you asked for, or is that still part of the growing process?
Well, I think he's improved tremendously from the beginning of the year, and I think he's improved in the red zone. He's done some good things in the red zone. I think situational football is new for him to some degree, where we are on the field, what hash we're on, what the wind is doing, those things. But, yeah, I think he's improved and gotten better, and the coverage is a big part of that as well. I think last week we had 3 punts, no returns, you know, average 40-something, I think 42, so I thought he played well against a good return team, in our opinion. And this week coming up will be another tall task for him, right? But we're playing in you know, a really good environment, and sometimes those guys get in really good environments and they think they want to just, you know, crush the ball and outkick your coverage, some of those things. So I think staying disciplined in this arena will be important for him as well.
Hey, Rich, I think it was a couple weeks ago that Troy Vincent said that the kickoff has become largely a ceremonial play. I guess, A, do you agree with that? And B, do you think opponents have made it more ceremonial against you guys and taken Keyshawn away from all the ways that he was so good last year?
I definitely think the new rule helped, right? With who we played Tampa a couple weeks ago, and they fair caught every kickoff, you know, and it's hard for us to, at times, if you feel like you have a good coverage team, it's hard to help set your defense, you know, when teams do that. So, you know, Troy Vincent's comment is Troy Vincent's comment. You know, I'm really just trying to get prepared to play against Minnesota's big-time return team, and on both punt and kickoff, and we'll see where this play goes as time goes on.
There's not much you can do, though, to give Keyshawn more opportunities, right? Like
No, we tried that earlier in the year, and I think we took the ball out from like 8 or 9 deep a couple times. And, you know, we're kind of first in tackles inside the 20 on kickoff, and we're first and tackled inside the 20 on kickoff return. So I'm not really fired up about that second one, and a lot of the onus, you know, falls on me and the decision-making process that we've gone through. And you know, he gets frustrated. You know, we feel like we have a chance to help our offense, you know, with him back there. But you know, we just have to be smarter in decisions that we make it for the whole team.